Welcome to the Big Mike Fun Podcast, where you'll learn about advanced wealth building strategies from real estate investing to creating massive ROI and secured retirement profits. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, grab a notepad, and lean in, because Big Mike has got the mic. Starting now.
Welcome to the Big Mike Fun Podcast. I'm the Big Mike Zlotnik, and today it is my pleasure and a privilege to welcome back my really good friend, Blaine Oelkers. Hi, Blaine.
Hey, Big Mike, great to be here. And, I'm excited because I'm coming into this elite Three Peters Club here. This is my third time on and really honored and blessed to be here with you. And, you're one of the brightest guys I know in finance and deal making and maybe even poker playing, but I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Blaine. I am honored and humbled. Yeah, it's also awesome to have you. There are very few people I know that call themselves chief results officer. You get things done. You know how to get people to get things done, which is very, very important. So thank you again as being three-time champion, right? Three-time guest. So anything new? What's new in the world of Blaine? What's happening? What's exciting? What's a new thing? We'll talk a little bit later about the 30-minute hour, but give us a refresher. What's happening? Anything cool?
Yeah. So I'm excited to talk today. We'll talk about the 30-minute hour, how to get an hour's worth of stuff done in just 30 minutes. So that's going to be really fun. I think right now for me, things are going well, on all fronts, right? So that's kind of nice. So in other words, health-wise, I've been riding the Peloton. I haven't missed a day riding my Peloton bike, and they just came out with it's like a game that you play while you ride. So that's been fun. My wife started a second career as a nurse, so that's been going great. My daughter is now a medical doctor, first one in the family, so she's in residency, and that's going well. And then my son just moved to Denmark. He was working for Apple, and now he moved over to Denmark to work for Vivino, which is a wine app. But he loves it. He just got engaged, so they went over there, and they have no commitments right now, and they can travel all around Europe and stuff. So things are going well, kind of, on the family side, on the health side, and then on the business side, just helping a lot of people. And really, I think, if you figure out, like, why am I here on this planet, and you start to do that stuff that you really like, that's very rewarding. So I'm able to do that, help people take control of their lives by taking control of themselves. And I think for you too, you have this sense of financial acumen and putting deals together. And I know certainly we met through a mastermind called Freedom Founders, where, you are changing the quality of those people's lives by helping them get into situations where their passive income is bigger than their active income, and they can actually leave in that mastermind, mostly dentistry. So you're doing a great job as well, and appreciate you having me back on the podcast.
Thank you, Blaine, for sharing. It's so happy to hear that your family is doing well. You're doing well. Congratulations to your wife on a second career. Your family, obviously, your daughter becoming a doctor, and your son getting into, I guess, moving to Denmark with his wife and enjoying that career. So they're enjoying life, the journey, I guess. So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's chat now a little bit about things you've covered in the past. You were a guest before, so let's just refresh a little bit so folks who are listening to this episode can get an opportunity to go back and go to a specific episode and just refresh what we talked about in the past.
Yeah. So first time I was on is episode 40, and we talked about Think and Grow Rich, which for me, my life changed in college when I read the book Think and Grow Rich. So a lot of people heard that. It's really about what you think about, you bring about, and it shows you how to take your thoughts and turn them into reality. So we talked about that on episode 40. We talked about mastermind groups. You and I actually meet every week in what we call a personal implementation plan meeting. And so we talked about those meetings and how the structure of those weekly meetings really can change your life. So that was episode 40. And then episode 120, I came back back, and one of my favorite discussions is habits. So in that, we talked all about habits. We talked about really two key things. One was the 21-second habit. So it's how to create a new habit in 21 seconds, not 21 days. So if they told you it takes 21 days, they lied to you. So in there, we talk about something called habit linking, which is really cool. And then we also talked about bad habit elimination. Everybody has them. And so we talked about some strategies there that you could use to get rid of the bad habits. So those are those two episodes. And today, yeah, I've got another, this is one of the most requested things. Like whenever I say, here's all the things I can talk about, people don't have enough time. They're overwhelmed. They never have enough time. Their plate is always full. They've got too much to do and not enough day to do it in. And that's why this concept of a 30-minute hour, where you get an hour's worth of stuff done in just 30 minutes, is a good one. So I'm kind of excited to talk with you a little bit, unpack it, have a little fun with it, and then have people leave this episode knowing how to do it in their own lives.
Thank you, Blaine. Let's jump straight into that. So how do you do 1 hour in 30 minutes and have 30 minutes to enjoy?
Okay, so we're talking about the 30-minute hour. So it would be you getting 30 minutes, an hour, 60 minutes worth of stuff done in just 30 minutes. So you're able to kind of compress time. And I'm going to say that you've done it before. Big Mike has done it before. Big Mike knows how to do it. And Big Mike is going to be able to do it again. But before we say what it is and how you do it, and then you're going to have this big epiphany and a light bulb will go off. It'll be a big moment of dawning comprehension. Let me ask you this first question, Big Mike, is let's say that you had some of these 30-minute hours. Let's say you strung together 4 30-minute hours. And so now you had 2 hours of guilt-free time to do whatever you want. What would you do? So I want to talk about the reward first. So if you use this, what I'm going to share with you, you're going to have more time. Now, so what would you do if you had 2 free hours to do anything you want guilt-free?
So that's a great way to segment. As you know, I need to exercise more. I don't exercise enough. So honestly, if I had 2 extra hours, I would take 1 hour, maybe even 30 minutes, and I would dedicate to exercising, stepping away from my work, and even going for a walk. How about that? I love walking. So it's an exercise. I walk fast, take at least 1 hour, which I struggle. I have it on my schedule, and even though it's there, I miss it. So if I was able to confidently and comfortably get that extra hour, not asking for 2, but just 1, I would go for a great walk around the block. How exciting is that, New York City? But I need the exercise, so I'll walk around a few blocks. To me personally, it's important because health improvement is an important priority for me. So getting the dedicated time to be able to actually go on this walk would be very helpful.
Okay, all right. So and when I ask people that question, it's typically some stuff like that, like a hobby. I like the Peloton bike. So I'd probably go for a longer ride on the Peloton bike that I could enjoy. People talk about hobbies. They'll talk about, some people just say, if I could get a few hours, I'd take a nap. They're tired, right? They need some rest. Some people would read. Another person, said they would go to Starbucks and just read the paper, and just kind of shut the world out. Reading actually is one that people do enjoy, with some extra time. But the key here is I want you to think about, before you learn this technique, what you will do with the extra time, in a way to reward yourself, because that's actually part of it. To reward yourself rather than just fill it with more stuff. Because what happens is once you realize this and start using the 30-minute hour, you will have the opportunity to just jam more stuff in, which I hope you won't do. So that's the caveat to this. I'm going to teach you a very powerful technique, but it's important that you don't use it just to stay on the hamster wheel or stay on the treadmill. Use it to reward yourself and to kind of get off the hamster wheel or the treadmill there. All right. So
I'll commit to that. How about this?
Oh,
if I can save 1 hour, I'm not asking for 2, 1 hour a day. Okay. I'll go for a walk, and then that will mean a lot to me.
You will find more than an extra hour, in using this technique. So if we think about this, what do you think And maybe you know that you might know this technique already, but what do you think is your most productive day of the year?
Productive day of the year.
Yeah,
That's
what is
a
the
great
day,
question.
if I ask it this way, what is the day of the year that you get the most stuff done?
I don't know. I don't have a good answer. It's actually probably a brilliant question. I have to think about it. But if I have to call a date, people say January 2nd. I don't know. Maybe there's something about starting, not the first. First, you usually chill out. This first day of the year afterwards.
Okay, so that's a date, which is good, and that's a productive day for people. But I'm just saying a day. So it's not like a specific date, but there's a day that not only you have, that I have, that everybody listening to your podcast has. This day, and for some people, it could be more than once a year, but there's this day that everybody, you and me, are more productive than a normal day. And studies show that you're 3 to 10 times more productive on that certain day than all other days. Now we're only looking for it 2 times. We're only looking for twice the production, not 3 to 10. So any ideas now with that further explanation?
That's a great question. I don't have a good answer. I am sort of blanking out for a minute.
Okay, so this is also so powerful that some companies are actually encouraging people to have more of these specific days than any other. So what it is the day that everyone is most productive is, are you ready? It's the day before vacation. So the day before vacation, everybody is 3 to 10 times more productive than their average day. So why do you think that is, Big Mike? Now you've had that day where you're taking the girls, you're ready to go someplace, you're going on vacation. That day before vacation, you crank out a lot of stuff. So why? So tell me, so think about that day and what makes that day so productive.
First of all, it's a brilliant observation. I think it is true, absolutely true. Must have been studied many times. And I agree with that. The reason for that, you are super motivated to get a lot of things done because you're expecting to be the reward right before the reward.
Big reward, yeah.
So reward is giving all kinds of motivation to get a lot of things done. Extra energy as a result. I think that these are some of the drivers. Maybe you're better organized in the day. You know what you need to get done before you go on vacation. There's just all kinds of incentives to jam a lot of things into the day and get it done and still feel high energy and not tired from the extra work or extra projects on that day.
Yes, that is perfect. And so the day before vacation, what we want to do is we want to extract from the day before vacation the things that make that the most productive day, right? So I have a little acronym and we'll kind of walk through. You touched on some of them, but I use this acronym PDF. Now, have you ever heard of someone say, hey, send me the PDF? You know, the PDF file. So people knows those initials. So my first question for you is, do you know what PDF stands for? When you say, hey, send me the PDF.
Well, it's the PDF file, right? It's the format. It's Adobe.
Format. That you got PDF. F is format. You have one of the 3 words.
So the word PDF means probably printable data format. I'm guessing. Maybe I'm. This is a wild guess. I don't know this, but P probably stands for printable, and then D maybe data. I don't know. I'm guessing.
All right, so you were close. You got the format. It's actually portable document format.
Okay.
PDF. But now, in our case, I just wanted to make that so they're going to remember Big Mike and I talked about the PDF. But the PDF for the day before vacation is plan, delegate, and focus. And so let me kind of unpack each one of these one by one. So plan, delegate, ask for help, and then focus. So the first part is plan. So what happens is the day before vacation, you can't just wake up and wing it that day. Okay. So the day before vacation, something I call next day planning, NDP, next day planning, you plan out the day. And so this is the key for you to have 30-minute hours. You got to plan out that day, right? So you want to plan it out. Typically, you're going to wake up early. And when you make your plan, you're only putting the vital things in there. You're kind of like deferring, things that are not essential, not vital, right? Because like you have a small window of time, a finite amount of time. The day before vacation really heightens your awareness to how much time, how finite time is, right? So you do the planning. So the night before that day, you're planning out the day. You're also planning to wake up early. So, the day before vacation, that's not the day you sleep until 10. The day before vacation is typically the day that you set the alarm and you wake up a little bit earlier. So the first one, P, is plan. So let me ask you, Mike, so do you typically kind of plan out your days? Do you have a schedule to your day? Do you do a planning of the day the night before?
Heavily planned. My schedule is booked, all the activities. What I do is, first of all, I block time for things that I need to have time for, number one. Number two, I certainly have a lot of stuff planned. So for me, planning is almost automatic. I look at it from a previous day perspective, what's coming up the next day, what calls I have, and I try to prepare. So that the planning is almost automatic for me.
Okay, good. And so for you, if you're looking for more 30-minute hours, you may also look at your plan and then see, where can I condense the plan? So in other words, you say, okay, I've got this amount of time for this project or this meeting or whatever it is, can I cut that by 15 minutes? Because a lot of times when things will expand to the amount of time you give them. That's a thing called Parkinson's law. So it's important to look at that schedule and treat it like the day before vacation. Where can I shave a little here, shave a little there? And we're going to talk about, when we talk about focus, we're going to talk about planning in three, tasking, which is single tasking, multitasking, and batch tasking. So when you're planning your day, right, if you say, look, I'm going to make all my phone calls in this 2-hour block, that's way better than saying I'll make a call here and a call there and a call there and a call there. So batch tasking, putting the things together, batching the things together that go together, that's going to give you more time. Like also, like if you have to run errands, like you don't want to run one errand in the morning, one in the afternoon. You want to go out and run all your errands in one shot, or if you can delegate those errands to somebody else, that's even better. But that's kind of the batch tasking. Multitasking is where you're planning your day and you're saying, where can I do things together? Right? So I want to exercise, but I also want family time. So let's take the family on a walk, or let's do some kind of physical activity with the family. I always did tennis. So I like tennis, but I wanted family time. So we all played tennis. So you're looking for that. Or for me, on my Peloton bike, which I ride every day, I have this little insert that turns the bike into a desk. So there's no excuse, because I can do work while I'm riding. So I'm looking for that. Where can I do the multitasking? And then single tasking, that's your most important work. And you do need shut the world out, focus in. But if I can remove all the distractions, I can get an hour's worth of stuff done in 30 minutes. If nobody bugs me, my phone doesn't ring, ding, or bing, if I can push the world out. So that's some of the things to kind of put into the planning side. The second one, so that's planning, that's the P. D is delegate and ask for help. So on the day before vacation, you can't get it all done. So you got to delegate. So what you want to do is figure out, okay, who can you delegate to? What can you defer? What can you push out? What is not vital? And you push that stuff out into the future. That's another way. And for me, actually, this year, I pick a word for the year. My word is vital. And what I've been doing is the night before, I look at all the stuff I'm supposed to do and I say, what's vital here? Like if some days I just scrap my plan. So my daughter, she works crazy hours as a medical resident. And so if she says, Dad, let's go hiking. Like if she calls me in the morning and says, hey, can you go hiking today? I go, yes, I can. Even if I have a full schedule, I just bail on the schedule to go hiking with her. So sometimes I use that same mentality. I say, well, what if Caitlin were to call me at 7 a.m. and I want to go hiking and I only had half a day, right? What are the vital things that I really need to get done? And what can I push out into tomorrow? And a lot of times at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm working on tomorrow's stuff because I got all of today's vital stuff done. And now I'm a day ahead. So I'm working on tomorrow's stuff. Anyway, in the schedule, when you're looking to delegate, or defer, you want to see what could you push out to the next day. And if you push something out for a few days, it's not that important, then it's probably okay. If it may get more urgent, and then you do have to get it done. But anyway, so that second one is you're trying to delegate as much as possible and defer as much as possible. So for you, Big Mike, how about you? I mean, do you have assistants? I know you have other people that work for you. Are you able to kind of delegate and defer things?
Yeah, great. So great concept. As much as possible, I try to delegate, and it is funny. Sometimes I do things I shouldn't be doing, and this is a reminder not to do that. So there are things, and one of the exercises that thank you to Freedom Founders to the list. There are things that I'm not good at, and I'm not necessarily happy to do, and they're definitely on that list, and it's very easy to push them out. So this day could remind me to basically delegate those tasks out almost indefinitely, as much as possible. It's kind of a refresher. What's on your list that can be pushed out? But there are some important tasks that can be done by other folks, and I may like to do them, but they're just as qualified to do them. So yeah, there are absolutely many things that I could potentially delegate, and that's one of the things I'm trying to do, is to delegate more to others. There's really, as you know, the only three ways to free time, right? This automate, delegate, or eliminate. And delegate is a key word in that three things. So yes, I could certainly benefit a lot by virtue of delegating more.
Nice. Perfect. All right. So we had plan, PDF, plan, delegate, and focus. Now, the most important one to have this day before vacation actually is the focus one, right? So if you think back to the day before vacation, there's a lot of stuff that you don't do on the day before vacation, right? So there's no chit chat. There's no, oh, I got time to write a long email. There's no long phone conversations with friends and stuff like that. There's no chit chat at the water cooler. There's no searching the internet for hours, getting lost in your email, right? During that day before vacation, you're very focused, right? So the key there is to how can you remove distractions from your day, and how can you stay focused like that day before vacation? Because the day before vacation, you've got a finite amount of time, and you've got to figure out ways that you can, not be distracted. The other most powerful word that you use on the day before vacation, and you need to use more, is the word no, N-O. Right. So on the day before vacation, when someone says, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? No, I'm going on vacation. No, I can't. And so you want to learn from that, and you want to bring that word no back in. No should be your default. Now you can figure out nice ways to say it, but your default response to the outside world on the day before vacation is the word no. And you need to have more of the word no in there. The other thing is that you stay very sharp on the day before vacation. Like you said, you have this reward at the end of the, that you're going on vacation. So I like to use rewards, especially at the end of the day, like to say, hey, I'm going to do this thing at the end of the day, or have this bike ride, or, some kind of reward at the end of the day. But you stay sharp, and you stay on schedule. So you stay sharp and you stay on schedule. Also, the day before vacation, a lot of times you budget time better. So you talked about, you allocate time blocks. That's a big thing. So allocating time blocks, and then allocating smaller time blocks than you're comfortable with, just a little bit, to get more done, and then using timers. So I use timers a lot, because I say, look, I'm going to do some research on the internet. I better set a timer, right? So I'll tell Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So using timers is really, really key to have these kind of 30-minute hours where you kind of, it helps to remove the perfectionist in all of us, right? Because on the day before vacation, good is good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. And so you're okay with that, that day before vacation, and you want to be okay with that in your everyday life. And so you want to kind of push out the procrastination and the perfectionism. And that's what this feeling, this kind of day before vacation feeling, really does. And then also focus comes back to that tasking that we talked about, right? So the single tasking, the multitasking, and the batch tasking, you want to use those things all throughout your day to have more of those 30-minute hours. And then technology. So you can use your phone, you can use timers. Typically the day before vacation, you may be recording notes for people, right? And so this is a very quick way to communicate now that a lot of people are using is they just record an audio on their phone, or a quick video on their phone, or a quick Loom video, something that is able to communicate that message in a very fast and efficient way. So a lot of times you're using kind of technology for that as well. And, you're letting the small things, the small low value things fall to the wayside, because that's what happens on the day before vacation. You can't get it all done, but you get the vital stuff done. And I like this quote from Tim Ferriss. He says, develop the habit of letting small bad things happen. If you don't, you'll never find time for life-changing big things. And so he says it's okay. Let the small bad things happen because you are focused in on the vital, important things. So that last one is focus. So for you, Big Mike, on focus, what are some things that you do to stay focused, or on that day before vacation, how are you kind of maintaining that focus when the outside world is pulling you in all directions?
Yeah, I love the focus. Reminds me Star Wars. Luke, stay on target. Stay on target.
Use the Force.
Yeah, use the Force. For sure, it makes great sense. That's probably the most powerful technique. As much as we all love to multitask, to be really good at something, you have to focus. And I completely agree. So for me, it's always the priority. What is the highest priority for the day? It's important versus urgent. There's a lot of stuff that kind of needs to get done, but is it really that important? If it's not that important, it can probably slip. So I agree with the concept, and the way I focus is just kind of knowing what is important for the current day. If I don't get it done before vacation, that's a problem. It's people not going to know what to do, or something is going to get bottlenecked. So this focus on what's important at least drives me, and then the rest becomes, like you said, delegate or defer, which is not necessarily always fun to do. When you come back, you have deferred stuff, but at the same time, if it's not important, you only have so many hours in a day. That's why you got to stay focused. So I'm in agreement with you. And back to your comment, yeah, I mean, what gets planned gets done. If you don't have a plan, this is the P, right? That it doesn't get done. Plan, focus, and delegate. I just love. I mean, it's the PDF. It's very, very powerful ideas, and certainly I can appreciate. I think you've summarized what I would call them common sense and common knowledge, but you turn these really powerful basic ideas into a blueprint for folks to basically be able to do this without thinking about it. So I applaud you for putting together this PDF. It's really great name and brilliant concepts, and I certainly love how it just turns the 8-hour day into 4-hour day, or normally 10-hour day can turn into 5-hour day if these things are put together properly. You could save a lot of time. That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and focus. A lot of people say focus is an acronym for follow one course until successful, right? So keeping that focus there is really key. And just this concept, just in the back of your mind, the day before vacation, or you have a little sign or a little post-it note that says day before vacation, or on the unlock screen on your phone, you could put day before vacation. If you just kind of remind yourself of that I want to keep, in my average day, not the stress of the day before vacation, but the productivity of the day before vacation is so key. And then, yes, planning, and then, delegating, and then focus. That's the big thing. And like you said, planning is the big part. I like to say the bad news is that time flies. The good news, you're the pilot, right? And so you are the pilot. So, but if you don't pilot your plane, you're either going to be on somebody else's plane or you're going to crash. So when your day starts, I'm not saying that my days run as planned all the time, but they run better when they're planned. And I have a better chance of getting the stuff that I want done if I have a plan. So it's important to really have that plan. So yeah, that first one, planning is really key. And that's what you do that day before vacation is you have a pretty tight plan because you realize how tight time is. And then you start delegating and then you stay focused. And if you can do those things, Big Mike, if you do those things, you will get that walk. You will get that walk in by the end of the day. Now, I know Big Mike has like 20 other things that you could put in that hour at the end of the day. But you do have to have that self-control to give yourself that reward, and you'll be better for it the next day. Like you'll be more productive the next day if you do get the walk in, because it will help you avoid burnout and maintain creativity and innovation and all kinds of things.
Thank you, Blaine. So I'll commit to the walk. It's on my schedule. I just need to execute it, because often the reason I don't do it is I have more work than the hours, and this will help. A couple of other very quick just reflections of what you said. So I love the don't sweat the small stuff, which is always an issue for a lot of people. Little things happen, even somebody cut you off while you're driving. This is really small stuff, but you are temporarily upset, and you what you don't want is that little thing to disrupt your day. Or somebody stepped on your foot, when you're on a subway in New York City. So is this a big deal? It's really not a big deal, but little things can actually distract. And then there are other small things so don't sweat the small stuff. And here's the grand conclusion of the whole lesson. This is a brilliant idea, the day before vacation, right? I love the idea. So what's the most logical conclusion? I'm going to ask you the question now. How do you do that? How do you turn the day before vacation into multiple times a year? What's the brilliance in that? And I have an answer for myself, but what is your answer?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I in some regards, I treat every day like the day before vacation, right? And I have this other, sense that life is short, and that our time on this planet is limited, and we don't know when it's going to happen. And the older I get, the more and more I realize that I almost have an obligation to live each day like the day before vacation in this area of, planning, delegating, and focus. But it's not, I don't have the stress of that day. Actually, less stress in my day because I'm getting more stuff done and I'm staying focused and I have a good plan and I'm delegating what I should be delegating. I could do more delegation if I was honest, like you as well, probably. But having that sense every day is my day before vacation. That's what I'm doing. And I think this idea that life is short helps me to kind of live that every day.
So I love that, and that's a great mindset. There's a solution, right? The solution is take more vacations.
I thought you were going to say that. That's right.
Yes, if you can do that, take more frequent vacations. I think it's actually very true. Even short vacations, take the weekend off, take the Friday off, take the long weekend off, and spend more time with the family. We're already way out of time, but this almost has continuation into the following idea just very quickly. So I heard this concept. What would happen if you went to a doctor and the doctor said, listen, you got 2 months to live, or if worst case, 2 weeks to live, or 2 days to live? Well, that's another episode. Maybe we'll talk about that. How do you change your behavior based on that kind of announcement? When you have expiration date and you actually have a pretty decent idea what the expiration date is. Obviously, vacation, it's a fun experience and you just become a lot more productive so that you can actually enjoy the vacation. But there is another way to look at this, is what happens if things are not running well and you only have very finite amount of time. At that point, you really have to focus on getting everything out of the remaining time. So for another episode, we'll come back to that.
That is for another episode. And I will tell you, there is, scientific data about that question and about the optimal time which typically is 6 months. Like if you're going to live with this notion in your head that you only have 6 months to live, that's like enough time. It's not so short that you're kind of in panic mode, but it's not so long that you have the rest of your life. So anyway, thinking in that terms is big. And there are some exercises and visualizations that help with that. There's also other exercises, about your 120th birthday party or you winning the Powerball lottery. There's all kinds of cool exercises that we could talk about that help you kind of frame, what's important to you, what's valuable to you. And when you found your groove, like Chief Results Officer, that's why I'm here. So even if I did win the Powerball and I won $500 million, I would still be coming back on the Big Mike podcast to share with people, because this is what I want to do, right? No matter what. So I think that's great. And hopefully people will make a little sign, right? I mean, the takeaway from here is plan, delegate, focus, but take a little piece of the day before vacation and put it into each one of your days. I think that's going to be outstanding.
Thank you, Blaine, for your wisdom. It's a lot of great information packed into a short time frame. I greatly appreciate your thoughts, your sharing, your knowledge, and your techniques. At the end of the day, these are very powerful techniques that should help everyone, including myself, get extra time every day. So thank you, Blaine.
Yeah, sure. And if people want more information on that, just go to 30minutehour.com. 30minutehour.com. You can do 30, or you could type it out. I've got both those domains, and I've got my website there with more resources if anybody wants that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I was going to ask the last question, how to get a hold of you, but 30minutehour.com is a great website. So yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Thank you for listening to the Big Mike Fund Podcast. To receive your copy of Mike's How to Choose a Smart Real Estate Fund book, head to BigMikeFund.com or visit Amazon and type Mike Zlotnick. Keep listening and keep investing Big Mike style. See you on the next episode.